Well, welcome. My name is Kate Harmon, and I'm the Director of Cross Campus Engagement for the Lundquist Center for Entrepreneurship. And today on our Getting Ahead series, I'm really excited to have with us Dean Lemman. Dean is the CEO of Jones Golf Bags and the General Manager of Jones Sports Company. So, Dean, thank you for joining us. I'd like to start off by having you kind of give us a little bit of background about your career in terms of where did you go to school, what did you major in, and kind of walk us up through your career until you come to Jones.
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to share the Jones Golf Bag story today. I went to Lake Oswego High School. Then I went to University of Puget Sound for a couple of years, semester at sea, and then the University Business School, the University of Oregon Business School. Graduated in '79, back in the Animal House days when we had a horrific football team. After graduation, I went to work full-time for our 100-year-old family business called North Coast Electric. I worked there for 35 years, retired as president 10 years ago. My brother and I sold North Coast last year about this time, and it was a $500 million business at the time. So that was a good thing.
That's great.
And I bought Jones in 2011, so I went from running a 700-person company to a 3-person company.
Wow.
Which
Well,
was challenging.
the Jones story is really what I would like to focus our conversation around today, because the Jones golf bag name is legendary in the sporting world, and how you came to it is also a very interesting story in itself. So can you first give us a little bit of background about Jones Golf Bags, when the company started, and how did it become like a leading brand in the 70s and 1980s?
Absolutely. It is an interesting story. George Jones is our founder. He was a Portland inventor and entrepreneur. When I bought Jones, I figured out that he had an amazing amount actually, of patents, not only in the golf world, golf bags, golf accessories, but everything from automotive products to appliances. He was quite a guy. Still lives here in Lake Oswego. We have him in from time to time. And like I say, he's quite a guy. He started Jones by sewing golf bags and taking them and selling them to local courses out of the trunk of his taxi cab. He eventually built a large factory in Northeast Portland in the Hollywood area, and Jones became the market share leader in high school, college, and amateur golf in the US and Canada. We estimate he had, at one point, conservatively 90% market share.
Wow. Wow. Very impressive. Wow.
Jones was synonymous with quality customized golf bags.
Interesting. Well, I know too that, so George Jones in 1990 sold the company, and under the new ownership, unfortunately, the product changed and sales declined. So can you discuss a little bit about how you got engaged with the Jones company?
The way that George explained it to me one day was he got to a point, where he was the market share leader, but he could see the end was near as the business was transferring to Asia, and he was going to have a tough time competing out of his factory in Northeast Portland. So he sold it in 1990 for $6.5 million. The new owner had no experience in the golf bag business, manufacturing, distribution of any kind. They tried to reinvent the bag, make a new, different bag, and failed miserably. Through a friend of a friend, it's a long story, I became aware of the story of what happened to this iconic brand, dug deeper, and through other contacts, ended up buying the brand, the trademark, and the IP for $10,000. Wow. And away we went.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Well, when you assumed then leadership of the company in 2011, what were some of the first things that you had to do to help get this company back on track?
Well, I was an avid golfer, as were my sons, but we had zero experience in the golf business. But the more I dove into it, I found my experience in distribution, manufacturing, with customers and running a company translated well into our new business. It was just the three of us, my two sons, Matt, Tim, and me, and we started completely from scratch. They had both recently graduated from Oregon and had joined the family business, North Coast Electric, in the training program, but their hearts were definitely not in it. So finding manufacturing in China to make the molds for the tops and the bottoms of the bags and make the bags themselves was our primary objective. We tried numerous factories, lots of stops and starts, before we finally partnered with a well-established quality factory in Shenzhen. And they shared our basic business philosophy of quality and do it the right first time. The Jones golf bag has a reputation as the most iconic golf bag in the history of golf. So partnering with the best wasn't that difficult once we found them.
That's great. When it came to reviving the Jones Golf Bag brand, what was your overall strategy and what kind of tactics or activities did you actually have to do to reach your goal of turning around this company?
You know, we had a business plan that we followed religiously and still do to this date. I'd say establishing ourselves just from nothing to the Jones guys was a big part of it. Establishing relationships and really proving that we could produce a bag, a quality bag that lived up to the reputation of Jones. Those were our key strategies. Basically, our goal is to get the company to break even ASAP.
Sounds great.
I think a lot of new businesses spend too much in the beginning and they run out of money. Our focus was keep expenses intact while we grow the company as fast as we could.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of some of your bigger successes did you end up finding during this time period?
You know, it's a great question. I thought a lot about this one. I think the real key for us has been this annual golf show that's in Orlando, Florida. We gear up for it, plan for it all year, and we get to show off all our products to thousands of club pros, buyers, distributors, reps in the golf business. We started out the first year with a little 10-foot by 10-foot booth in the corner of the show, and people would stumble by and say, "Oh, Jones." And we'd hear the stories. We didn't sell a thing. All we had was a few samples. And to be honest with you, they were kind of tearing. We were duct taping them up. Really, really initial product offerings. But everybody knew the logo, and they'd look up at our sign and say, "Oh, Jones. Jones is back? I remember I had a Jones high school bag, college bag. I used to order Jones bags by the hundreds when it was what it was in the 70s and 80s. So we had this instant brand recognition. It was just a matter of establishing ourselves and producing a product that could, live up to the reputation. I would say factory partnerships was the other key thing. Those are hard to establish in China. And we now have not only our big factory in Shenzhen, but we have a new one in Vietnam that produces all our smaller bags, our original single strap carry bag, our stand bag, and all the accessories, duffel bags, that kind of thing. So those are key. I would say our customization capability in Portland is also key. We have six head embroidery machines and full-time embroidery specialists, so we can customize any golf bag. We can embroider your name, course logo, or whatever you want on a bag, which is really big to people. Expansion of the product line from just the George Jones originals. George just made the single strap carry bag, which made him famous, and a real basic stand bag. We call those the originals. And now we've got so much more. And then lastly, I'd say, Kate, a great website. Again, starts and stops on that to develop a website where people can go on, not only order whatever they want to order, but customize it, and off they go. That's been huge. 40% of our business is now online ordering.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, I know it's probably not been an easy road to bringing back the brand. What has been sort of your biggest challenge along the way?
It was extremely challenging, and a lot more so, not just starting a business from scratch and all the stuff you have to do, business licenses and all that good stuff. But in our case, the communication with the factories was extremely difficult. Like I said, we went through a number of factories before we finally zeroed in on quality ones. But from the design to sample process to ordering, it was all extremely challenging in the beginning. Lots of errors that cost us time and money in the beginning as well. It was 2 years after we produced our first bags before we finally started making money. That was also challenging for an entrepreneur. And I would say also getting traction, gaining trust of the pro shops, buyers, reps, and distributors was another great challenge.
Interesting, really interesting points. Well, I know, as you mentioned, you partner with your two sons, and they're integral to Jones. Can you share a little bit about like how all three of you work together? What are their roles in the company, and how do you arrive at decision making?
Yeah, family business can be fun and easy, I always say. In the beginning, we all did whatever we could to get it going. I was the lead in starting the business, finding a building, decision making, partnering with factories and planning. The boys did whatever they could to help make connections in the golf industry. Both were primarily focused on sales in the beginning. After a couple of years, I continued as CEO. Matt was focused on sales primarily. Tim was primarily our operations inventory guy, and we had hired a full-time accountant and a warehouse guy. At that point, we decided we needed somebody with a lot more experience and connections in the golf business than we had. And luckily, we found a guy named Chris Carnahan, who was also a U of O grad and played 4 years for the U of O golf team. At the time, he had a small company called Carnahan Wedges. He was looking for a new opportunity. It was a very valuable addition. He's now responsible for marketing, product design, and he's actually the general manager.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know in 2016, and you kind of hinted at this, that you came out with a new line of products that included totes, duffels, and other related golfing gear. Can you share a little bit about what was your decision to come up with new products, and what has your strategy been in this particular area?
Yeah, it's been an interesting learning experience. We quickly found out that every major golf course in the States, Canada, and around the world has at least one major golf tournament in which they give out what they call T prizes, basically gifts to every participant as part of the entry fee. And that could be a pair of shoes, a sand wedge, and we got really focused proactively on tournaments, and we capitalized on that. And you think about it, it could be, there's 100 golfers in a golf tournament, that'd be a 100 bag order. And we did real well at that. After some time, our customers began asking us, what else can you do? First we added more bags, like the Players Series, the Rider, which is our cart bag, the Utility Series, which is a whole nother line of golf bags, the Ranger, which is a shag bag / ice cooler that we sell thousands of, and shoe bags. Eventually, we expanded into accessories, as you said, like duffels, backpacks, apparel, and headwear. As the brand's popularity has grown, so has our website sales for both bags and special accessories.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How much has like being in Portland, the capital of global sporting products, helped your brand and just being able to manufacture or get the customization that you need for your product?
It's interesting because Portland is the sporting good capital. And for a while, Nike was one of our biggest competitors. But Nike decided to get out of golf bags, golf clubs, and all that good stuff a few years ago. That was a huge market share increase. But at the time and ongoing, we're still a small player. And we're all self-contained. We don't utilize anybody else's expertise. We're just this little guy that's grown faster than anybody.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's amazing. Well, now that you brought back the Jones golf bag brand to its iconic status, can you share a little bit of thoughts about how you intend to sort of maintain and what your strategy is for future growth in the golfing world?
I wasn't going to say this, but I don't like the word maintain. Never have liked that. Whenever I see, somebody that worked for me wrote a business plan that said maintain this or that, I said, get rid of maintain. Tell me what you're going to do differently to grow your business and improve. But anyway, just a little editorial comment there.
Absolutely.
After 10 years of a lot of growth and success, we're now doing $5 million a year in golf bags and accessories at very healthy margins. We grow an average of 35% a year. We have a unique product and the world is our market. We have 12 employees full-time, mainly golfers and U of O grads, and we're in our third building and rapidly running out of room. We have a rep network and distributors around the globe. Our biggest customer is actually our distributor in Tokyo. We have a training program where we hire new employees, we bring them into the warehouse, and they do embroideries, and they can work their way up to sales. I'm no longer as active as I was. Tim actually left the company a couple years ago, moved to Hawaii, and he has a jet ski business. My son, Matt, and Chris Carnahan pretty much run the day-to-day now, and I'm just there to help them when they need me. But the future at Jones is very bright.
That's awesome. Well, as you think back over how you turned around this company, were there any particular key strategies or activities that you think really led to having the greatest impact on this turnaround?
You know, to me, it's all about planning and implementing. You have to have a detailed plan encompassing all aspects of your business with measurable goals and action items, and you need to live by it. Be a great planner and even greater implementer, and it's relatively simple to achieve your goals. I'd also say, have fun doing it. Life is short, make the best of it.
Great advice. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. And my last question then for you is, as we have a lot of students interested in forming a similar sporting product or apparel companies,
Right.
For students that are graduating, any advice or best practices you can recommend in terms of how to be successful in this world?
You know, my philosophy has always been good people produce good stuff and a lot of it. The rest is excuses. Work hard, work smart, and achieve your goals.
Awesome advice. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much, Dean.
You bet.
Dean Lemman, the CEO of Jones Golf Bags and the general manager of the Jones Sports Company. Thanks, Dean.
Thanks, Kate.